Hey guys, Boston Ramos, and this Sunday, September 25th, the Miami Dolphins will be hosting the Buffalo Bills in their Week 3 matchup, 1 p.m. kickoff, and buckle up because this one's going to be a wild one. You know, you have possibly. I don't want to boast too much about Dolphins, but seriously, this is probably one of the better matchups of the week. You have two 2-0 teams, if you can't tell behind there, and on top of that, just Bills have had a staggering margin of victory in the last two games, and then the Dolphins are coming off one of their better wins in probably the last 5 to 10 years. So you have Buffalo winning 31-10 against the Rams, 41-7 against the Titans. Then Dolphins dominated the Patriots 20-7. It's not that big of a margin, but definitely was more lopsided than the scoreboard shows. And then the Baltimore Ravens game where the Dolphins came back and scored 42-38 and 28 points in the fourth quarter. Now, that being said, that was tremendous comeback win. But that's neither here or there. That was the previous week, but you can probably enjoy watching Tua do it over and over and over again right now because I'm probably putting it in this video. On the real though, let's go over some, big news is Tua's leading the league in passing. 739 yards after 2 weeks. Right after him is Carson Wentz, 650. And then also, three of the top receivers in terms of receiving yards are playing on Sunday in this game. You have Tyreek Hill, 284 total yards. Right behind them is Stephon Diggs, 270. And then not far off, we have Jalen Waddle, 240. So those are the top three receivers in terms of yardage this season so far through 2 weeks. Now, let's go into some injuries. But before that, let's go into the matchup predictor on ESPN with Bills favored 61.1% to the Dolphins 38.4%, which I think should be a lot higher for the Dolphins. But it is what it is. Buffalo is favored -5 on the spread, -220 on money line. Dolphins +180. Over under set at 53 points. Now, I'm not big on betting, but if I did. It's tough because I think the score would be just around 53 total combined. I think both teams will be scoring about 20 points or so plus in this game. So probably might want to take the over, but with divisional games, you never know. Now, standings. Dolphins currently hold first in the AFC East by definition of beating the Patriots week 1. Now, both teams are 2-0, and Buffalo does have an AFC win. But if the season ended today, Dolphins would be the AFC East champions just because of their divisional win against the New England Patriots. On top of that, they have another AFC win. Meanwhile, Buffalo has an NFC win and an AFC win. So that's it. Not too big of news. It's still early on in the season. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about some injuries. Buffalo had a big news coming out officially this morning, but yesterday was, kind of scheming it up. We have Micah Hyde, safety. He is out. On top of that, Ed Oliver is officially out. That was by yesterday. Jordan Phillips is out. My bad, guys. Micah Hyde, safety, is out. Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, is out. Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle, is out. And Dane Jackson, cornerback, is out. You can also add on Tre'Davious White to that list, even though he's already been listed kind of as out for a good portion of the season. He's on the reserve pup list with his knee injury that still hasn't fully recovered from. Some questionable players is Mitch Morse, center. He's with elbow injury. Tim Settle, calf. Jordan Porter, foot. Hopefully he doesn't play because then that would be huge for the Miami Dolphins. But wish him the best. Gabe Davis, wide receiver, ankle. And Dawson Knox, tight end, foot injury. So those are some key injuries for the Buffalo Bills. Now let's get into the Dolphins. We have Teron Armstead with questionable with a toe injury. Xavier Howard, groin injury, questionable. Xavier Howard, cornerback. Teron Armstead, offensive tackle, in case you guys didn't know. Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, knee injury. On top of that, Cedric Wilson, questionable, wide receiver with ribs/toe injury. So what kind of combo is that? It's kind of crazy. And then let's go to some players that are listed as out. Is Keenan Carter, tight end. Hunter Long, tight end. Carter has a concussion, and then Hunter Long has an ankle injury. And then on top of that, Byron Jones still on the PUP list with his ankle injury. So we'll see what happens there with that. But yeah, as I alluded to earlier, currently the leading passer in the NFL, Tua, and 3 of the leading receivers in the NFL in Hill, Diggs, Waddle are going to be playing this Sunday. So one thing to look forward to, Buffalo, as I mentioned, has a depleted secondary right now. Not saying that they're going to be horrible, but key to offense should be trying to test that defensive secondary, especially with if Poyer goes out, try to throw that ball all over the place because you want to see what that secondary is made of, especially with their backups and stuff like that. Because if we were facing a fully healthy Buffalo secondary, it would be a little bit more intimidating, especially because they're one of the top tier defenses in the league. I mean, when you hold opponents combined so far to 17 points through 2 games is pretty crazy. I mean, the Dolphins defense did not look good against the Baltimore Ravens, but found a way to make plays happen on clutch downs, especially 4th down. You know, got pretty lucky with a botched snap, and then on top of that, 4th down stand. But aside from that, you know, we went with the 0 blitz and slant with Rashad Bateman, and the run by Lamar Jackson just almost deflated this Miami Dolphins team. So, yeah, there's that. Do I think it's going to be a close game? I do. I think it could be anywhere between 24 to 28 to, you know, possibly in the 30s. It just really depends on how both teams' defenses play. I'm a little more optimistic about the Dolphins' defense compared to the Bills' defense just because they have so many injuries right now. But no excuses. They still have Von Miller on the line. They still have Edmonds in the linebacker position. You know, if Poyer plays, I'll just be beefing up their secondary because right now they're dealing with a few injuries. So, yes, try to test that secondary, especially if Jordan Poyer doesn't play. Keep Tua up and try to establish a running game. Dolphins really haven't had a crazy running game since essentially Joe Philbin was the head coach of the Dolphins. So, quite some time. You know, they've been through, I want to say, 3 head coaches through that time, if you include Dan Campbell's interim run as a head coach. So, yeah. So, those are some things that Dolphins fans probably want to see. You know, get Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert involved. They did a pretty good job of that last week, but they couldn't establish that as much because they were playing from behind off rip. I mean, you allow an opening kickoff, that's what happens. But, yes. Now, defensively, how do the Dolphins win this game? Bring Josh Allen down. Dolphins always struggle to bring Josh Allen down or apply a lot of pressure, especially keep him in the pocket. You want to not allow him to try to run over our guys because that's the type of quarterback when he gets out of the pocket is he'll, you know, drop a shoulder and drive you to the ground. Meanwhile, last week we played more of a shifty quarterback in Lamar Jackson who can make a move and turn upfield, and next thing you know, 79 yards, he's gone. But yeah, some things that Dolphins defense should really embrace is trying to bring down Josh Allen, and then I'm really looking forward to the matchup of Xavier Howard versus Stephon Diggs, just because I think Xavier Howard is one of the better corners in the league, and then when you add that, he's facing one of the better wide receivers in the league. So, you know, bring Josh Allen down as much as possible. Xavier Howard blanket the hell out of Stephon Diggs because second leading receiver in the NFL. Offensively, tested Bills secondary. You know, get Waddle and Hill involved early and often, but also don't be afraid to run the ball. You know, keep running that ball. Protect Tua. It's plain and simple. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if any of you guys are going to a game, let me know. It's going to be a fun game. Really important one too. You know, I think whoever comes out of this has a good leg up in terms of possibly winning the division. It could be the Bills, it could be the Dolphins. I think this is a really close game, closer than a lot of people think, especially with some of these Bills injuries. If you told me these injuries weren't happening beforehand, I would more than likely say that the Bills had a better chance. But I think this sways things in the Dolphins' favor. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you in the next one.